cork together so that there's not a lot of bulk. And the question came up in the Facebook group as well, and Wendy from WD Handbags, who is an admin in the group, mentioned sewing the cork in a certain way to reduce the bulk, and it sort of reminded me that yes, I know how to do that. I just couldn't think of it at the time, so I wanted to show you a really quick demo on how to do that. And Danny's going to flip over to the side view so that I can show you how to do that. So first, let me show you the finished project, and I apologize for my glaring white stitching, but I wanted to make this super apparent on the screen. So the way to sew 2 strips of cork, or this can work with other fabrics like cotton fabrics as well.
That right there, a little bit.
Okay, Danny's going to zoom in. He's telling me to hang on a second. Okay, so the way to accomplish this is to sew the cork right sides together, but on a 45-degree angle. So the reason that this eliminates bulk in the strap, if you were to sew the strap pieces instead right sides together, all of the bulk would be concentrated along that, all of the bulk would be concentrated along that straight area. But when cutting the fabric along the 45-degree angle, the bulk is distributed here, and on the other side, as you can see, it's further down. So the bulk from the seam is not in the same place, so that makes it more flat. So let me show you how to accomplish that. Okay, so I've got my 2 strips of cork fabric. I'm going to sew them right sides together so that I can make one continuous strap. So first off, I do have a quilting ruler that can accomplish this, but I wanted to show it with a regular quilting ruler so that anybody could complete this process. So I'm going to look for the 45-degree angle mark on my ruler, which is basically perpendicular lines, and I'm going to line that up along the bottom straight edge of the fabric, and I'm going to draw a line right here. And I'm using Clover Choco. You can use another marking tool, but I love using this tool, and I felt like the white chalk would be easily visible for the videos. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and let's see if I can do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to just move the ruler over and again draw a 45-degree line. Okay, so that's what the 2 pieces should look like. Basically, you're cutting the pieces so that they fit into each other, kind of like a puzzle piece. And I'm just cutting this end off to make a diagonal, and I'm going to cut this other end off as well. So these scraps get discarded. I'm going to flip these so that they're right sides together, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, except I need to place this. I'm not going to place this exactly where the corner is. I'm going to place it a 1/4 inch in, and we're doing that just so it works out when we sew it right sides together. It's a continuous strip. Okay, so I drew a little line over here, and that's a 1/4 inch in. And I'm going to align that fabric so that the diagonal edges meet, and the edge of the fabric is right at that 1/4 inch. So I'm going to sew this using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I have that prepped already, just because I don't have my sewing machine handy right now. All right, so I sewed this using that 1/4 inch seam allowance. After I did that, I used a roller to roll the seam because cork fabric shouldn't be ironed. So I used the roller to roll the seam, and then I top stitched about a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch to either side of the seam, just to hold those edges down. So then there's 2 little dog ears over here, and those just get trimmed off. Okay, so the next step to sewing the strap is you'll be top stitching the strap in whatever method you're using. So you can either have the cork fabric wrong sides together and top stitch both of the long edges. You can press it like double fold bias tape, which would mean in toward the center, and refold, or in thirds. However you're doing it according to the pattern, it'll be less bulky in the seam over here. And again, this is what the finished strap will look like. And of course, you'll want to use coordinating thread. Most of the time I like a coordinating thread better so that the stitches don't stick out. But this strap is nice and flat over here where the seam is, and that's my demo on how to lengthen cork straps. And again, like I said, you can use it for any fabric, not just cork. So leather, vinyl, even quilting cotton, to eliminate that bulk in the area where you're joining those 2 fabrics right sides together.